I, 34M, have never been a strong swimmer. I can tread water if needed, but I generally avoid swimming when possible. This is something my wife Anna, 32F, knows and has always respected. Last weekend, we were at a barbecue at our friends Dave and Sarah's house. They have a nice backyard pool and most people were planning to swim. I politely declined when everyone started changing into swimwear, saying I'd just hang out poolside. My wife went swimming with the others while I enjoyed watching from a safe distance. After about an hour, my friend Dave started insisting I join them. I kept saying no, explaining I wasn't comfortable swimming. He laughed it off and said, "Come on, don't be boring." I continued to refuse, getting increasingly uncomfortable with his pressuring. Things escalated when Dave started approaching me with this mischievous grin, saying, "Sometimes you just need a little push." He actually grabbed my arm and started pulling me toward the pool. I panicked and pulled away, nearly falling in the process. I was genuinely frightened and shouted for him to stop. What upset me most was that my wife was right there watching this happen and said nothing. She was laughing along with everyone else like it was just a joke. I felt completely betrayed that she didn't step in when she knows how uncomfortable I am with swimming. After we got home, I confronted her. I'll admit I raised my voice significantly. I said something like, "How could you just stand there while Dave was trying to force me into the pool? You know I hate swimming. You're supposed to have my back." She got defensive and said I was overreacting and that Dave was just having fun. This made me even angrier and I ended up sleeping on the couch. The next day, she told me I embarrassed her by making a scene and then yelling at her afterward. Now she's saying I should apologize to her and to Dave for ruining the vibe at the party. I don't think I'm wrong for expecting my wife to stand up for me, but maybe I shouldn't have yelled. So, comment 1. NTA. You clearly communicated your boundaries multiple times and Dave ignored them. What he did wasn't a harmless prank, it was disrespectful and dangerous. And honestly, your wife laughing instead of supporting you is a bigger betrayal than Dave's behavior. You weren't ruining the vibe, you were standing up for yourself after being humiliated and scared. You deserve a partner who backs you up, not one who sides with people crossing your boundaries. Comment 2. NTA. Maybe you shouldn't have yelled at her, but the fact that she clearly thinks it's no big deal and that Dave deserves an apology from you is odd. Like, you ruined the vibe? Really? Doesn't sound like she cares about how you felt at all. I wonder why she's so insistent on defending Dave. My boyfriend isn't a strong swimmer either and I just can't imagine seeing him scared that someone is going to push him in the water and standing there laughing with everyone else instead of defending him. Comment 3. You aren't the R here, your friend and wife are. Your wife knew about it and still laughed in your face and encouraged him to do it. She is trying to gaslight you here. Tell her you won't apologize to her nor Dave and better yet she can sleep on the couch. There's no reason why you should have to sleep on the couch when you did nothing wrong. Story 2, not eating the birthday cake my boyfriend got me? Alright, so my birthday was a couple days ago and I asked my boyfriend like a week before to get me a carrot cake. While I know it's not a popular choice for a birthday cake, it's my favorite and practically the only flavor of cake I like, besides red velvet, but I wasn't feeling it tbh. Keeping in mind that I was gonna have a birthday party with my friends, my boyfriend suggested that I get a flavor that people like, which I'd understand maybe if it was a huge party with tons of people, but I know my friends and I know they wouldn't mind carrot cake at all. Edit, should clarify, I told him that my friends would be fine with carrot cake and to get it anyways. Fast forward to my birthday, my boyfriend goes and gets the cake from the shop in the afternoon and I don't get to see it since I'm getting ready, but he doesn't mention anything to me about it, so I think nothing of it since I like a surprise. My friends arrive and everything's going great until it's time for the cake to be served. We gather around the table and everyone sings happy birthday while my boyfriend brings out the cake, and to my horror, I see this big chocolate cake in his hands. I hate chocolate cake. It makes me sick. He knows I hate chocolate cake. My face fell when I saw it, but I obviously didn't say anything at the time. However, I did give my BF a glare or two, which he clearly picked up on since he kept insisting I eat the cake in front of everyone as we were serving it out. Something about that made me angry in the moment and I refused to try the cake at all. I cut it, I blew out the candles, I handed it out to everyone, but I didn't try it myself. I don't think the others took huge notice, but once the party ended I started getting unready when my boyfriend comes into our room and is like, "Why do you have to act like a child all the time?" And I'm like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "You have to make a scene just because I didn't get your ducking carrot cake." And he went on about how nobody likes carrot cake and how I'm spoiled and selfish and looked stupid not eating cake at my own birthday, and then claimed he couldn't find carrot cake, which is crazy because 1. I've never not gone to that shop and not seen carrot cake, and 2. Even if there wasn't any, he could picked any other flavor, besides the only one I hate. I told him that and he just got really upset, like I was the one who started the fight, and started going on about how I was overreacting over cake and how he tried his best to make this birthday good for me, which in fairness is true since he put a lot of effort into organizing it for me, but honestly I was just livid then. Now we're still kinda off about it and neither of us have apologized or anything, but I'm starting to think I did overreact over cake and I probably should just eaten it and then talked about it later, but I'd. Comment 1. I'm feeling kinda spicy, so I'll just let it out. Why are you living with a man who doesn't give a damn about your request? Celebrate your birthday by kicking him to the curb. Comment 2. NTA. It's your birthday, the one day that's supposed to actually be about you, and you made a simple, reasonable request. He didn't just forget or make a mistake, he deliberately ignored what you wanted, picked something he knew you hate, and then tried to guilt trip you when you, very calmly, honestly, didn't eat it. That's not you overreacting, that's you having a totally normal boundary. You didn't throw a tantrum. You didn't ruin the party. You just didn't eat a cake you can't stand. And honestly, him calling you childish and selfish over it says a lot more about his immaturity than yours. You're not wrong for wanting your birthday to actually feel like your birthday. Comment 3. There's a specific type of nice guy that pulls this kind of shit to get a reaction. He's telling you he doesn't care about your preferences and angled it to see if you would say something in front of others or not. Now he knows you'll keep his bad behavior private. Get out of there. NTA, Story 3, refusing to babysit my sister's kids when she had an important work dinner. I, 24F, am currently working full-time while taking night classes for my master's degree. My schedule is packed. My sister, 30F, has 2 kids, 4 and 6, and constantly asks me to babysit last minute. I've helped her out at least 15 times in the past 3 months alone. Sometimes with literally 2 hours' notice. I've missed study groups, rescheduled meetings, and even called out sick once to help her. I love my niece and nephew, but it's getting ridiculous. Yesterday, she texted me at 4 p.m. asking if I could watch the kids from 6 to 11 p.m. because her regular sitter cancelled. I had a huge exam the next morning worth 40% of my grade that I needed to study for. I told her I couldn't this time and suggested she try the babysitting app I showed her before. She freaked out, saying it was an important work thing and I was the only person she trusted. I stood my ground for once and said no. She ended up missing her work event. Now my whole family is blowing up my phone. Apparently this work thing was actually a dinner with her boss where they were discussing a promotion. My parents are saying I'm selfish and should have just studied earlier, as if grad school works that way lol. My sister is giving me the silent treatment and posted a vague FB status about people who don't value family. I've dropped everything for her kids so many times, but the one time I prioritize my education, I'm the villain. I feel bad about the promotion thing, but also feel like I'm becoming her default childcare without any consideration for my life. Comment 1. I would seriously never babysit for her again. She's built up this entitlement with all her last-minute shenanigans, which you've complied with. Now it's time to change that dynamic entirely by not allowing it any longer. It's not as if you're getting credit for all the times you've moved your own plans around, you're just getting denigrated for saying no once. One damn time. so change it up. Make a statement about it beforehand, or not, but don't babysit for her again. She's lost her rights to your time by being a total R to you. Anyone who's giving you crap about it can babysit for her. Done. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. If your parents feel a certain way about it, they need to step up and start babysitting for your sister. You did not lay down and create those children, and you do not owe your sister free babysitting whenever she feels like it. Comment 3. NTA. The entitlement of your sister. You have your own life, school, and exams to get ready for, and she doesn't give a rat's furry behind. She's selfish and has the audacity to paint you as the villain while acting like she's entitled to your time. OP, I'm sorry your family sucks. Ignore them and concentrate on your studies. She had other options, you didn't. The fact that she missed that important work dinner is her fault, not yours. She's the mother of those children, and finding childcare, even in an emergency situation, is her responsibility. You did nothing wrong. Story 4, moving my roommate's dirty dishes outside her door after she left the kitchen unusable. So I, 25F, share a house with 3 other girls, and we have this unspoken rule that if you cook something, you clean up your mess right after. At least that's what I thought was the rule. Last week I came home from a 12-hour shift. I work at a hospital, and the kitchen was absolutely wrecked. There were pots everywhere, food stuck to the stove, and dishes piled so high you couldn't even see the sink. Turns out my roommate had meal prepped for the entire week and then just left it all there. She wasn't even home, went to her BF's place for the night. I was exhausted, hungry, and TBH just wanted to make a quick sandwich before passing out. But I literally couldn't find a clean spot to even put bread down. I texted the group chat like, "Hey, who destroyed the kitchen?" and got no response. So I took pics of everything, then cleaned just enough space for me to make my food. Then I took all her dirty dishes, pots, food containers etc. and put them in a big plastic bin. I left it outside her bedroom door with a note that said, "Next time clean your mess, or at least give us a heads up." When she got home the next day she flipped out, saying I had no right to touch her stuff, that some of it was expensive cookware that could get damaged, and that she was planning to clean it when she got back. She called me petty and controlling. But here's the thing, this isn't the first time. She's done this before and promised to stop. Plus, how am I supposed to use the kitchen when it looks like a bomb went off? The other roommates are split, one thinks I went too far, the other one actually thanked me privately. Comment 1. Nope, when living with others, clean as you go is a basic rule. If roommate really cared about her expensive cookware, she would have taken care of it. Might be time for a roommate meeting in which you discuss basic rules and what will happen if one is ignored. EA, if laundry is left in dryer, it's placed on your bed, if left in washer, put on top of it, etc. If someone wants to live like they don't have roommates, then they should move out. NTA. Comment 2. NTA, I have fancy ass cookware because I cook a lot, and nothing is going to get damaged by putting it in front of her door unless you're being wildly careless with it. You can't leave a mess for 12 to 24 hours in a shared living space. Also, if her cookware were that fancy, she'd be taking care of it versus leaving it crusted with food on a counter. Comment 3. I love to cook too and have nice cookware. Clean as you go is a practical mandate. Depending on what you are making, leaving it in the pot, pan that long can cause damage or make it extremely hard to safely remove without damaging the pot. She did more damage by leaving them dirty than by putting them in a tote. Unless, of course, she thought someone else would come along, need the kitchen and clean up for her. Extra, leaving my husband after he refused to help with our child. My 29F husband, 30M, and I have been together for 10 years and currently share one child, 3F. When our daughter was born, I was working full-time in an office setting but then went on a leave after developing severe PPD. We realized that we didn't need my full income, so I stepped down to part-time so we didn't have to use daycare and to hopefully relieve some stress to ease my depression. I worked part-time from the time she was 6 months old until January 2025. During this time I was responsible for the household and our daughter. My husband's only real responsibility was cooking dinner and the occasional breakfast. I cleaned, I grocery shopped and meal planned, I remembered all the appointments and events, I also did all of the child rearing with the exception of the 2 days I worked in office. I had 1 day from home but my daughter was at home with me. I became more overwhelmed than I was before. I asked for help constantly and my husband would follow through for about 2 weeks before telling me that he was too tired from working full-time, 40 hours. I told him I wanted to go back to work full-time and split the workload. He said no. I found a job anyway. One where I'd be able to put my daughter in reputable daycare for my remote days and still be bringing in more monthly than my part-time job. It's important to note that we are also renovating our entire home due to hurricane damage and we didn't have insurance, so extra income is needed. I told my husband about the job after accepting the position. He was furious. He told me not to expect any help outside of what he does now, cooking. He has remained steadfast in his decision to not help. I recently asked again if he could at least help by brushing her teeth in the morning. He said no. I said we are supposed to be a team and I would really appreciate his help. He snapped that this is what I wanted, I did this to myself and he would not be helping beyond his fair share. I said fine, I'll figure it out myself. I've since been contemplating divorce. If the only responsibility I need to pick up is cooking, then what help do I need from him?